Sacred Beings, and welcome to my channel. Today I have a fun video for you. One of my friends asked me if I could tell him what star planet he's from. Like, he hasn't really heard about starseeds much, and he asked me if he wanted to know if I could figure out his home planet. So that's what sparked this video. I'm going to give you an example if you were to join membership on my channel. It's totally optional. You don't need to do this. It's just the join tab where subscribe would be. So if you already subscribe and hit join, it's going to give you options for a membership. And the highest tier is getting a free reading, birth chart reading. I'll tell you your home planet. I could read your tarot cards. I'll just read things that stand out on your birth chart. So I'm using him as an example because I am curious to know which star planet he came from. So this video is going to be basically exactly what you're going to get in the top tier membership. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you why the background is a little boring today and why my shelves are empty. So I have a life update. If you guys are interested, stay tuned to the end of the video. But if you like all things spirituality and you want to be part of a spiritual community growing together while on our sacred journeys, then please hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's go, because I'm super interested and excited to share where my friend comes from. So even though this is an example of my friend's birth chart, you can also follow along because I'm going to show you the markings for certain star origins. So you can always follow along with the notes, and you might have same origins that he does, and you might learn something new about yourself while learning about someone else too. So the first thing you're going to need is your birth chart. So if you don't know how to get that, I always use astro-charts.com. You want to click on birth chart, fill out all your information, and then create chart. So this is what it's going to look like. And right away, his has a bunch of crazy lines, which we will talk about later. But mainly we're looking at the planets, the top portion, and then all the way at the bottom, the houses. So, and in this video, I'm also going to share what stood out in his birth chart a little bit, which are under aspects. And also we're going to be looking at some of the shapes that are very rare in his birth chart. As well as I'm going to be looking at his sidereal and tropical. So as soon as you hit create chart, this is your tropical chart, which we use now in Western astrology. But I also want to know his sidereal chart. And I'll tell you the difference of them in a little bit. But the way to change the sidereal is you click on settings and then you select sidereal and apply. So I screenshotted both charts and I'm looking at both of them when I'm searching for the markings. So I am going to say a disclaimer. I am not an astrologist, a professional birth chart reader. I don't charge to read charts. I don't read people's charts. I just give the info for you to find it easily online. That way you have all the info and you can do it yourself without having to pay somebody. But basically everything here I'm self-taught and I'm sharing it with you guys, and that is a big part of my channel. And then the reason I'm comparing both of these charts is because I had a theory in the beginning when I first started learning about sidereal, which I know I'm saying sidereal wrong. It's pronounced a different way. But if you've been here a while, you know I pronounce a lot of things incorrectly, and I own up to it. But yeah, I'm comparing them because my theory was if you have a lot of markings on one chart and a lot of markings on the other one, that's probably a really big confirmation that that is your home planet. But basically, tropical Western astrology is your personality right now in this lifetime. And then sidereal is your true self, your higher self. So like where you came from and where you're going back to after this lifetime. So the first thing I'm going to be using is my first ever Starseed video Origin, which has now been 2 years ago, which is crazy. So this is the original Starseed video, and I'm using all of the notes from there, which you can find in the description on that video. And right away, I just started with Pleiadian, and I found 10 markings for my friend for Pleiadian. I found 10 markings in his tropical and 3 in his sidereal. And I always say you need at least 3 markings to confirm that's an confirmation that could be your home planet. I do want to say you don't need any of these markings to know where you came from, or you don't need me to tell you where you came from. If your soul knows, your higher self, your intuition, you relate with the traits of the Starseed Origin that we'll go over soon, then that is your home planet. You don't need these markings. But it's a huge confirmation. So if you had a feeling you're a Pleiadian and then you have these markings, that's just extra confirmation. Also, you can be 1 to 2 degrees away from what I'm going to go over. So the Pleiadian markings are 25 through 29 in Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, Cancer, or Capricorn. And I'll show examples of his chart. And more markings are 0 in Gemini, 0 in Sagittarius, 0 in Pisces, 0 in Virgo. And then he also has 3 markings for Orion constellation, which is in Gemini. So in Gemini, if you're an Orion starseed, it would be 11, 16, 17, 19 through 24, 26, 28. But he only had 3 markings in tropical for Orion, not sidereal. But he had more than 10 markings for Pleiadian in both. So that leads me to believe like he's originally from the Pleiades, which we'll talk about, but that he also probably traveled to Orion or something like that, which I thought was pretty cool because I ran into him the other day and he's like, "Do you know my origin yet?" And I told him I'm not going to tell him until he watches the video, but what's your favorite constellation? Like, which constellation are you drawn to? And he said Orion, which I thought was crazy because he does have markings for there. So he's definitely been there before. I don't think it's his origin. I truly think he's a Pleiadian, which we'll talk about traits of them soon. But it's crazy because the Pleiades are very close to the Orion constellation, and the easiest way to find them is to look at Orion's belt straight across, and then you'll find the Pleiades in the corner, which is like star cluster, like most well-known star cluster in our sky. But he also has 3 markings for Sirian in tropical and 1 in sidereal. So he's probably visited Sirian home planet in the past or in another lifetime, but I don't think that's his origin. But if you're curious, Sirian starseed markings are in Cancer, which are 7, 11, 13, 14, 17 through 21, 23, 25, 29. And then moving on, he also has 4 markings for Epsilon, Eridanian, which I know I'm saying that wrong, in his tropical, and then 4 in his sidereal. So this is where you get into like hybrids. So he's like a Pleiadian, Epsilon, Eridanian hybrid, but he has 1 more, which I'm going to share with you. But Epsilon, Eridanian, I know I'm saying it wrong. The markings are in a Pisces, it's a 15 in Pisces, 23 in Aquarius, and then in Taurus, it's 2, 8, 13, 18, 20, 23, 29, and in Gemini, it's a 0, 5, 11, and 15. And then lastly, he has 5 markings for Reptilian, Draconian, or Draconic origin in his tropical, and 7 in his sidereal. So the highest markings are Pleiadian, Reptilian, like hybrid, but also very strong Epsilon, Eridanian. So those are the 3 like top origins I found for him. And I basically stopped my search there because it's very rare to find more than like 3 or 4 for a marking confirmation, let alone 7 or 10 markings. So right away when I saw 10 markings, I was like, you're a Pleiadian. So I'm going to start talking now about the traits. So I'm going to share with you the traits of Pleiadian, Epsilon, Eridanian, and Reptilians. That way you, my friend, can decide which one sounds most like you, or if all of them do, then you're just a hybrid for those 3 different origins, but maybe came from Pleiades, or your parents or star mom and dad are from, one's Draconic, one's Eridanian, but you were born in the Pleiades. So that is also a theory. But basically, I know that you, my friend, you're a very old soul and you've traveled many times through many constellations and planets. So that's why you have 3 markings here, a couple markings there. It's because you're like galaxy traveler. So basically I just started with Pleiadian. I Googled the traits and mission. So I'm going to start reading fast because we have a lot to cover. And I also want to go into some other things too. So Pleiadian starseeds are creative and compassionate souls that originated from the Pleiades star cluster, which is not too far from Orion. Pleiadians incarnated on Earth to fulfill a specific mission of knowledge, love, healing, and transformation. You may not resonate with all of these traits for a Pleiadian starseed, but you should relate with most of them if this is your true origin. So number 1, you are highly intuitive and you're not afraid to trust your inner compass. You make decisions purely on gut instincts and you know your wisdom comes from a powerful source. Number 2, you have a strong awareness of your own feelings and you can easily pick up on others' feelings, as well as you're highly empathetic to people's emotions. Number 3, you live your life by following your heart, not your head. You're emotional and not afraid to be vulnerable. Number 4, you have a strong inner feminine energy that causes you to embrace the desire to nurture and care for others. Number 5, you are drawn to all forms of healing and you are a great healer too. So you have healing capabilities. Number 6, you hate violence and you dislike physical fighting and you hate to see anybody hurt. You cannot fully comprehend the extent of human cruelty and why people would ever want to go to war and harm each other. Number 7, you naturally get along well with kids and animals. They can sense your inner peace and that you have good-natured energy. That's totally you. Number 8, you may suffer or have in the past from depression, anxiety, mental disorders. This may be because starseeds have a difficulty adjusting to the physicality of Earth. Number 9, Pleiadians tend to be light-skinned, blonde, blue-eyed, and Nordic looking. Also slim with long, thin faces. So if I could show you a picture of my friend, and if you Google Nordic, I'm just going to find a picture. This is basically what he looks like. So that's why I thought that was a pretty big sign and confirmation that you're Pleiadian. Another thing, which I don't know if this because I don't know your birthmarks, but if your birthmark, if you have a mole or freckles or small scar right in your third eye area or in the middle of your eyebrows on your forehead, or if you have it in your throat area, or you might have both, freckles, scars, markings, or an actual birthmark on your throat, or near your heart area, or your torso right above your belly button. If you have markings there, that is another confirmation. And then Pleiadians are visionaries. So you push agendas that will benefit all. They will use their crafts to connect with and uplift others, using your compassion and love for others to create a bit more light in the world. So I thought that was super cool. But let's move on to Epsilon, Eridanian, even though I'm saying that wrong. So they are a beautiful race that came from elvish giants. So most choose to incarnate on Earth because they wish to experience life in the confines of a smaller embodiment. They are masters of logic and discernment. Much of their decision-making comes from their heart, very like Pleiadians, making them extremely compassionate. They are the universal mediators and peacekeepers, and are wonderful at this because of their understanding on how to oppose programming, propaganda, and all other mind control tactics. So this race is known as the Olympians, the Titans, Giants. They call their home planet Iridel, and the capital city called Oblivion, but to us it's known as Olympus. So if you relate with any of Olympians or all that history, if you resonate with Greek mythology, because you are very Greek-like, and elvish folklore, that's a trait because it reminds you of home, like that mythology. So you also have a great sense of humor. You're loyal, adventurous, honest, very crafty, and you like to work with your hands. You're a quiet listener and observer. You have gentle nature, poetic, You can become isolated and hermit-like when you're overwhelmed. And then moving on to the last one, reptilian traits. So I did a whole video about reptilians and how they're not all negative and here to control us. And I did a video, so look it up if you want to learn more about reptilians. But basically, they're higher dimensional reptilian race or a force of good. They play an important role in the evolution of Earth and the human race. They incarnate on Earth to heal, bring consciousness, and restore balance. These old souls originated from the Draconic royal lineage, the Draco constellation. They reincarnate to reverse the evil deeds of the dark reptilians and restore peace and bring healing and prosperity to humans. Some traits are that they have plenty of energy and stamina levels are high. You are at your best when working on important projects. You take pride in leading projects, and you're an activist for important humanitarian causes. You like physical exercise, and competitions appeal to you. You have a lower body temperature. So if you have a lower body temperature and you're drawn to areas that are warm and lots of sunshine, like hotter climates, you're highly intelligent and drawn to sciences, technology, engineering, and or math. And then the world depends on you to provide solutions to difficult problems. You're an innovator, a theorist, researcher, and architect. One of your main purposes is to use your intelligence to help with the evolution of the human race. You like to challenge authority, and you're not afraid to stand in front of the masses, conveying your bold, unconventional ideas. You're also empathetic, passionate, and can easily influence others. People listen to you, and they accept your ideas easily. But instead of using your abilities to influence negatively, you channel your energy towards leading your followers towards the truth and light. So I thought that was very beautiful. So there are many other traits about Draconians and Reptilians, and I'll put a link below about where I found this and how, if you want to read more about them. So that was basically the Starseed reading portion. If you were to get the membership and wanted a reading, it would be something similar to that. But now I want to look at a couple other things that stood out in my friend's chart. So the first thing is that the time he was born was 222. And right away, that's numerology, and an angel number is another word for that. So you might see like 222 on the clock, on a bumper, like license plates, like on a receipt when you buy something, like anywhere, it could be anywhere you'll see 222 in the weirdest places. Or you might hear somebody talk about, oh, at 222 I have to be here, or something strange. It just keeps popping up. And the meaning of it is it signifies good fortune and finances, relationships, career, and it's a reminder to work towards your soul's purpose. If you are, and this is pretty cool, if you are pursuing a passion or desire and you're not sure if you're on the right path and you start seeing 222 everywhere over and over again, that's like your angels or higher self letting you know that you're on the right path and that everything is working out and that you just need to trust yourself and trust like the path that you're on. Which is crazy because after I found out what time he was born, I did start seeing 222, and this is part of the end of my video where I'm going to tell you the next life path that I chose, which 222 was like showing up, and now I know it was just confirming like the plan that we chose. So one of the things that stood out was that the moon was a waxing gibbous at the time of birth. So I just did a video about what it means, how the moon was in the sky, what it means about you. So if you want to look at that video, you can. Another thing, I just Google it. I'm like, what does cardinal mode dominant in the chart mean? And it's like you have big boss energy. You're a natural born entrepreneur. You're very driven. You're a self-starter and a visionary leader. And then I looked up Venus in your midheaven says that you have strong capacities for beautifying environments, and you're likely to have creative talents that you can present through public performances, making a positive impression on your audience. And I thought that was cool because I know you said that you used to like be in plays and stuff. So I knew that aligned with you. And then lastly, that thing that stood out to me was that you have a grand cross shape. And this is very rare. Like, this is the rarest shape you can get in your birth chart. And like, there's different types of grand crosses, and yours is called a cardinal grand cross. And that's due to like the signs that are involved. And you can read more about them. I'll post a link because it's pretty interesting. It's an article you might want to read for having a super rare marking in your chart. But basically, it's the most challenging of all the crosses as it holds the most power. The signs involved initiate action and taking the lead. So this grand cross feels like there's 4 alphas fighting against each other, like 4 different corners of you and your mind, like battling against each other like all the time, like fighting with yourself. And you may feel like you're constantly being pulled between different directions without knowing how to begin or which direction to go. And that's when 222 really comes in, is like, trust your gut, you know. When 222 pops up, that's the path to go on. But however, if you master the Grand Cross, you'll be known as the high achiever, succeeding in multiple areas of your life. So I thought it was cool. John Lennon has a Cardinal Grand Cross. So I'm going to post the article below so you can read more about it because it's very interesting. But basically, that is the full example of what you would get. And my friend, I think you're a Pleiadian Reptilian. I would just say Pleiadian Reptilian hybrid. That sounds right. But anyways, if you're here till the end of this video, life update. Our time here has came to an end. We fulfilled our year agreement and we'll be leaving in like 2 weeks after recording this video. And they don't need help during winter, so we're actually going to go back to Nebraska and take our trailer to Nebraska where Alex, my boyfriend's family, is. We've lived with them before for a couple months in their basement, which their basement is super cute. And they have a nice yard, so our dog will love it. And we'll be there for the holidays with the family. So that's what we're going to do this winter for a few months. And then as soon as winter is over, we're going somewhere else, a new RV park, which I will disclose to you guys in a next video of where we're going. It's super exciting. But yeah, by the next video, we're going to be in Nebraska. So I hope to have a cute background for you guys in the basement. And it's going to be like Halloween time. So I'm super excited. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you have questions about memberships, you can ask in the comment or just click that join button because that will give you information. But anyways, I have to go because Alex's family just got here and they're going to be here for a week in New Mexico and we're going to show them everything. So they're literally pulling up now. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you have a great day. Bye.